Hello, Internet. Uh, I'm Ari David, and this is Destined for Failure, a Twitch stream in which I play Destiny badly. Tonight's menu, we are going to be doing some escalation protocol on Mars. What is escalation protocol? No one asked. It's a wave-based combat thing on Mars, which is going away in September when the new expansion comes out. And I need to play Escalation Protocol to get this item here, the Icalos SMG, which is the last item I need to get this badge, which will in turn earn me a fancy schmancy title, Wayfarer. So once I get this one weapon, I get a nice name that gets to go, like a title that goes under my character's name. And I've been working a long time for it, and they've made it easier, but it's really hard to get this weapon for a variety of reasons, most of which are it's a public event, so you play with randos, and most people don't know what they're doing, unfortunately. So here we go. Both the luck of matchmaking and RNGesus tonight. So hopefully somebody's already on the map playing Escalation Protocol. Looks like we got people doing public events, which is the next best thing. Ah. So that red light in the sky, that beam, that says Escalation Protocol to me. Ooh, they're already on level 4. This is good. So Escalation Protocol is community-based wave combat dealio. It used to be nigh impossible, but the power cap has been raised high enough that it really isn't that bad if you know how to defeat the final boss. There are 7 levels. The boss rotates each week, as does the rewards, which means the gun that I'm trying to get isn't available every week. It is available this week. It's also the most difficult boss because it's the only boss that has a real mechanic that nobody ever seems to figure out. Which, if we get to level 7, I'll talk about. So, as you can see on kind of the middle left-hand side of the screen, that's showing us the progress on this level of Escalation Protocol. It comes in various phases. They range between just fighting waves and waves of guys or having to close these shadow rifts, which are basically like defending a spot, destroy the 3 crystals, kill this guy, grab his sweet-ass sword, and get a free sword to go mess things up for a while. And now. Yep. We got one more wave of just kill everything in sight. And then there's a wave of killing bosses. And we're done with this level. Now, worth it. The face. So one of my favorite things about Destiny is the naming conventions for the bad guys. So trying to get this to feel like an MMO, the different alien races, like, we have names for them. They don't call themselves this, but like, it's what we Guardians call them. So those big floating ones are called wizards. So it's like, you gotta go shoot the wizard. Look out, it's a knight. They all follow some sort of fantasy or mythological naming convention. The Vex are like goblin, hobgoblin, cyclops. It's cool. They like walking that fine line between fantasy and sci-fi. They definitely embrace the Star Warsiness. I was on my health. Because this is a public event, I'm not really sweating dying so much. We got 3-second respawn because we're not in like a mission or anything. We're just in the sandbox. So I'm a little more reckless. Not that this makes me seem any better than when I'm cautious. Alright, so sometimes escalation protocol gets interrupted by the regular public events that happen on Mars, which is what's happening right now. And my guess is it's the Warsat. So this is a normal public event. These happen on all the planets, not the same ones, but like there's a rote set of like 7 or 8 different types of public events. But because we're in the middle of escalation protocol, there's gonna be like extra hive that show up while we're doing this. Assuming I still have health. That's usually where you get boned. People bitch you. And they're like, oh man, I didn't realize how long escalation protocol took. I'll be at it for the next few hours. Is it just me and one other guy? Because that's awful. I somehow always get stuck with humanity. Activity. Experience points. How are you? What's that thing not dead? Two ogres. Alright, with 4 people we maybe stand a chance of clearing the boss. I love the last boss, the level 7 one. feel more confident with 5.
The hive suppression field is up.
Ow, 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 ow. Stop it. You're it in memory. They are out and about. Presumably Nate has work, and I haven't heard from Todd all day.
Multiple hostiles detected. Rasputin is activating
I'm
the Valkyrie.
flying solo. So we're doing okay. These randos, which I said with more bile than I feel. They're probably nice people.
The hive are sending an ogre. Here's something to fight back the hive.
We'll take care of it.
Okay, where's that guy? There he is. Damn, ow, ow, ow. Stop shooting at me. Oof, that.
Warsack clear.
All in a day's work. Great job out there.
Alright, so now that this public event's done, we can get back to some proper escalation protocol. Stop wasting our time with the shenanigans. Hopefully these people understand that. Yes, very lucky the randoms are helpful this time around. I've been having bad luck. Let's see. Where are they? Where's escalation protocol? Where's our laser beam? There it is. I'm with you, Drew. Alright, level 6. Oh, that's right, I forget. So we did level 4. I guess the public event we just did counted as level 5. That's nice of Bungie. So now we're level 6. This is... the step right before the big nasty boss that everybody messes up. It does look like it's just me and Drew, though, which does not bode well. That's the thing about escalation protocol. Because it's a public event, people just drop in and out. Explodey guys. And I was all frozen-y. Die. We'll definitely die. Shadow Rifts, okay. Nope, 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 nope. There really isn't a benefit. Sometimes people just don't understand how escalation protocol works, and so they're like, ooh, a thing's happening, and they'll shoot, and then it'll end, and they'll be like, well, guess it's done. For example, the For example, the last boss here this week is really, really rough, and most people don't know. It's only rough because most people don't know the mechanic and don't read the chat when I tell them what the mechanic is. Which basically, there are these charging explodey guys. You might have seen them. They're called Cursed Thralls. The ones at the last level, if they reach the boss and explode, they heal the boss, and nobody realizes this. So hordes and hordes of these guys just run up to the boss and heal him. And everyone's like, I don't understand, why isn't he dead yet? And I keep typing in the chat, you have to shoot the thralls before nobody listens. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Come on. Come on, people. Weekly. So every Tuesday, Destiny does like a game-wide reset where they switch up what like Crucible PvP maps are available, what strikes are featured that week, and likewise, this event cycles through what guns are available. God, we don't have this because somebody forgot, took that out. So we got 26 seconds. This is not ideal. Somebody forgot a crystal. I was trying to get it, and then I died, and I was working my way back to it. But we definitely don't have time to finish this, so we're gonna lose. Which sucks, because I believe it knocks you down back to level 5. Yep, man, that was a loss. But there are people here, so they look like a fire team because they all have Black Lives Matter and political related stuff. All cops are bastards. Zadabra, defund the cabal, and Anaconda says Black Lives Matter. The matchmaking is local, and I'm in New York City, and there's a lot of protests, so seeing those types of names, yeah, that makes sense right now. Defund the cabal is probably the funniest one. The other ones are like somber. Hey, escalation protocol. Let's see if they'll play. If no one joins me for this level 5, I will have to try another planet. I'll have to go back to orbit because I can't do this alone. So those guys that have just been these guys, and level 7, hordes of them just charge the boss. Oh. Good you're standing up for yourself in memory. That shit's not easy. I'm very lucky. My parents are, my family's pretty cool. No one in my family's been a dick about it. I've done a little bit of protesting. My partner's done more. And my parents are like, go get them. So I hear that. I got a bunch of friends that live in the Bible Belt. I'm a Jersey boy, born and raised, and then I moved to New York, because why not? Can't see. Really just still me and one person? This is depressing. This is why I get frustrated. It always is like just 2 people are trying to do it and you can't 2-man this. I'm sorry you feel that way. I would not live in the Bible Belt personally, but that's just me. I've never been to Detroit. I hear that it is a cooler place these days. I have a bunch of, like, I went to art school, so I have a bunch of artist friends that are all out in Detroit, and supposedly it's not half bad, getting not half bad, which I'm glad to hear, because it was Detroit. That's good to hear. My girlfriend likes a good farmer's market. We have, that's cool. That's got art. We, big one by us is, in Grand Army Plaza. So I live near Prospect Park. And that's like at the top of the park, and we live at the bottom of the park. So my girlfriend likes to ride her bike or drag me if she can wake me up. That's the farmer's market. Nice place. Grand Army Plaza is kind of one of the landmarks in Brooklyn, specifically. The Arch. We've done a lot of the protests start there because it is a big spot. Destined for failure. Come watch me talk about the New York City Black Lives Matter protests while I shoot laser guns. Cognitive dissonance here is Dumbo's cool. Dumbo's been built up the last, well, since I've been in the city. I've been in the city going on 15 years now. It's when I started, when I first moved to the city for college, it was just a bunch of, so, I don't, let's see. I don't think this is going well. We'll try. No. Are you kidding me? We're back at level 4. I might as well. I'm gonna try a new planet. I'm done with these people. But Dumbo is just industrial warehouses. Like a lot of businesses took over and converted the warehouse spaces into like office space. Particularly in like film and television. I used to be a video editor, and there are a lot of like post-production facilities in Dumbo that are built into these old warehouses. It's a strange but kind of cool aesthetic. Yeah, I definitely feel like I should be wearing a hard hat in those places. Okay, so any one of those tourist, like, this is the best pizza place is not the best pizza place. Unfortunately, my favorite slice of pizza in New York, I can't get anymore because it closed. But it was this little hole in the wall on 23rd Street in between Lex and Park. Yeah, it sounds like Dumbo. The best slice I ever had was in Manhattan on 23rd Street in between Lex and Park. See, this has a lot more people doing stuff. This bodes well. It's called Frank's Pizza. When I first started going there, they upped the price eventually to $2, but when I first started going there, it was $1.50 for a slice of pizza. It was this little shitty hole in the wall, but my god, they made the best pizza, and they were right across the street from my dorm building. So I used to roll out of bed and live off of their pizza. And I don't know, my career was strange in the sense that it kept bringing me back to the same place in New York. I interned and then worked at a studio in the Chelsea Gramercy area, which is around 23rd Street. So I was always kind of in walking distance of Frank's. So I used to keep going back there even after college. And fortunately it closed down a few years back. So my favorite slice is gone. I've yet to find anything that compares. There's still good pizza. New York has great pizza, but I would definitely tell you any like list that you got online or whatever. Grimaldi's, yes. I've been to Grimaldi's. Yeah, they're good. I've been there with family who again were visiting and were like, I hear this is the best slice. I'm like, it's the people who say it the loudest. Yeah. Frank's Pizza was real New York. Yeah, I hear ya. Just because the pizza's located in New York doesn't automatically make it amazing. I will say that we do have the best pizza though. Like, Frank's was outrageous. You could still find a damn good slice. We take our pizza and our bagels very seriously here.
Over down. More set clear.
All in a day's work. Great job out there.
So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I see 4, 5 maybe. Come on, laser beam. Exactly. Let's place in Central Michigan. Cover ribs are just right thickness. Toppings are good. Everybody likes toppings. I'm a pretty simple guy. I like pepperoni. It doesn't make me special, but it is a fact. All right, let's see if these suckers join me. So, fact. I am deathly allergic to pineapple. So no, I will die. My girlfriend loves to bring it up. Told it to her on our first date. I gave her our kryptonite. I was like, you ever want to take me out? Yeah. I will go into anaphylactic shock and my throat will swell up. I cannot have pineapple. This is like my one food allergy. I can do everything else. No problem. I love spicy food. I try all sorts of crazy things. It's just like, I should probably avoid Hawaii, you know? Which is, you would think that, right? You would think that I would just be allergic to fruit, but no, like, it's specifically just pineapple. I love fruit. I drink orange juice every morning. I love strawberries. I used to go strawberry picking as a kid. Just pineapple. Literally just pineapple. My parents, when I was a kid, they like, my dad was a doctor. So, like, he was super paranoid about everything. So they had me, like, exposed to all these different foods under, you know, laboratory conditions. I don't know. Like, they just they tried a lot of stuff, and they found out I was allergic to pineapple, and that it was bad. And that I should avoid it. I had yet, as an adult, to go to an allergist, so allergies go away, new ones develop, so there's a chance I could be able to eat pineapple again, but I've yet to risk it. I've yet to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna see, just for shits and giggles. Interesting. Yeah, I'll be honest. It's been such a part of my life. I don't think I'm doing this on my own. Okay. This is dumb. He's cured. Quote. I don't know if that means it's psychosomatic, or if that is I don't know. Was it a religious cure? Was he miracled? He just grew out of it. Yeah, I don't know. It's not really curing. This is. We'll see. I might have grown out of it. If I have, my girlfriend's gonna make me eat so much pineapple. She talks about it all the time. Sometimes she keeps cans of pineapple juice in the fridge, and I think she does it to taunt me. She's like, "No, I just want vitamin C." I'm like, "That's what the orange juice is for." And then she's like, "I just like pineapple juice." Snap. Definitely. Definitely some sort of immune system thing. But I'm a writer guy. I don't know science. Oop, see, that's a good sign. Escalation protocol already happening. Although it's gonna fail. But it's one. Let's just make another guy again. So this is gonna be my night. I could go and try and find someone on. Oh, it's not worth chancing. I would go to an allergist if I was gonna find out. Oh shit, we made it to the boss. Don't know if we're gonna get the boss, but especially because I don't have my super. Just get him though. What? Just barely. Skin of our teeth. Yeah. That is, oh my god. We Destiny players, we love this game. It is a mad experiment. It's this crazy Frankenstein game, which is kind of why I love it. It's beautiful for its imperfections, and one of the things that they have had consistent problem with is matchmaking. It is gorgeous and fun to play, though. So I'll forgive them a lot. They keep giving me cool guns to shoot aliens and robots with. It looks like we're 3-manning it now, I think. I don't know if Kaz is helping. Shadows. I should pay attention. Where the fuck are these shadows? There they are. I'll tell you what wasn't an overrated place. I don't know if you're a Parks and Rec fan, but I went to the steakhouse that Ron Swanson loves in Indianapolis. I think it's called St. Elmo's or something like that. My god, it was the best steak I ever had in my fucking life. The best part was there's normally a dress code, but we happened to be there for a nerd convention that takes over the entire town called Gen Con. And there was no dress code because it was just full of a bunch of nerds. Just a bunch of us sweaty, weird nerds eating their fancy steak and their horseradish. They're famous for their horseradish, which is really good. We're not getting this boss in 20 seconds. Especially because I can't even see it. Like, where is the boss? Oh, they added time. Alright, now we might do it. Yo. Can you not? Can you not? Damn wizards. That sounds very strange. Yeah, we ain't getting this guy. That's it. Lame. What are these Jagoffs doing? What are you doing that is an escalation protocol? Come on. You too, bucko. Let's go. Alright, let's see if I can... Nah, not worth it. Let's try loading it. Loading in again. It's gonna be one of these nights. It's gonna be one of these nights. And it sucks because it's just this one stupid gun. Okay, so, you find those red platforms, you activate escalation protocol. It starts with wave combat, then it goes to shadow rifts, where you basically have to capture a point, destroy 3 crystals, then it usually goes back to wave combat. And then once you defeat the wave combat, there's one final wave with bosses in it, and you have to defeat it within the time constraints before you can move on to the next level. And the escalation is the next level's harder. Every level's harder. The last level, level 7, is just a huge boss fight. There are different bosses every week. You have to look up the escalation protocol schedule. Oh, there we go. This is promising. So where are they at? They're probably level 1. Okay. So these guys are working on it. It looks like I got 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we can make it all the way up to level 7 without ever failing, we get to the boss. Beating escalation protocol will guarantee you a piece of a specific armor set that you can only get from escalation protocol. They made it easier to get. I don't want to bother explaining how it used to work, but it was a lot harder. Depends on the game mode. So literally your character is a zombie space wizard in the lore of the game. You are eternally being resurrected. So, like, death and rebirth is a big part of the game's meta plot. Right now, we're in, like, the public sandbox, just the regular PvE stuff. And, yeah, nice. It is. It's one of the things that, like, it's cool. I'm a zombie space wizard. I get to go fuck around in my spaceship and shoot aliens and robots. There we go.
Watch out. Cursed thrall incoming.
That's a great...
Keep our distance.
It's a great band name. So yeah, so if you fail an escalation protocol and you restart it, you go down one level. It doesn't reset to the beginning. It just keeps dropping all the way until 1 again. So you really don't want to fail, but it's not the end of the world. So the way to farm this is to get it to level 7, successfully beat the boss, and then if you relaunch it, all you have to do is play level 6 again, and then it goes back to level 7. And that's how you're supposed to farm. Now the reason you need to farm it isn't really for the armor, it's for these weapons. The weapons have a chance to drop from the boss. Which weapon is available depends on the week. This week is like a special one where all the weapons have a chance to drop, but the drop rate is so infinitesimally small. I can't tell you how many times I've beaten Escalation Protocol trying to get this weapon. I have been a year and a half, specifically, I would say. I got back into Destiny April 2018. I took a break because I was disappointed with how Destiny 2 initially was, but then after the Forsaken expansion came out, my friends convinced me to come back. And in between that time, this module, Mars, the Warmind expansion, came out. So it's been around. It came out like a few months after I quit the game, and then I played a lot of catch up because I really like Mars and I really like the storyline that's involved in it. But I've been trying to slowly get this Wayfarer title, which I am literally just this weapon drop is all I need, and it won't fucking drop. I beat the boss like 10 times today. It's so sad. I had trouble with this gun and another one which I miraculously got a week or two ago called the Braytech Osprey, which was like, God, I hated it. The worst part was that gun, both of these guns actually, the one I'm chasing now is actually worthless. Like, I'm gonna scrap it as soon as I get it. I just need it for a checklist. Thank you. I will take your prayers. Yeah, so it's up to the gods. It's got some stupid, like, 2% drop rate. It's not good. I got my ass, son of a bitch. That's the problem with wizards. That's actually cool. I'm indifferent. I could do it in Hebrew. Though I'm an atheist these days, so I don't do much in the ways of praying. I actually studied Arabic for a year. It was fascinating. The script is totally different, but the language is actually very, very similar to Hebrew. Yes, it is indeed. It is Hebrew for the word lion. Which is cool. I always think, like, if I was a Native American, that would, like, that would have just been my name. I'm Lion. But alas, that's not how Jews do it. That's a controversial thing, but I actually kind of would. I would say that they're branches. I am of, depending on where you're at on the political spectrum, I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent, but I'm very left wing. I think Jews and Arabs are family. We're related. That's why everything that's happening in the Middle East is so painful. It's a family fight. of just a really long family feud that's been going on for so long, nobody remembers who cast the first stone, and it doesn't even matter anymore. Yes, it's a civil war. I would completely agree. We are two sides of the same coin. And I try talking about that with... I was raised religious, not now. But try talking about that with some of the people I grew up with, and like, they'll be frothing at the mouth. I grew up in a very, very Zionistic community. Not that I have a problem with that, but I'm a little more open-minded. The crazy thing is, the Palestinians and Muslims that I've spoken to here in America, a lot of them feel like me, where they're just like, it's a family thing. I've had more agreement here, and it's amazing. You take a flight across the planet, and it's a bloodbath. Yes. But that's a whole nother argument. No, I'm following you. I'm following you in memory. Yeah, they're both just they're peoples that declared themselves a people. Like, not like that they were nations, rather. That they weren't an ethnicity or a religion, but
Don't worry. We'll deal with them as many times as it takes.
and they just started fighting. The land's both of theirs. It's everyone's. We're all human. And while, I'm a descendant of Holocaust survivors, and while the idea of having a place that is safe for Jews is a very wonderful thought, as an American, I don't like the concept of ethnic states. And I would say I'm an American above anything else. So, but I'm talking politics. This is getting heavy. This is a Destiny stream. I should probably mark. I don't know. Is this safe for kids? Depends on your political leanings. I don't know if I need to mark this as like not safe for work. I cursed a little. I'm not really talking anything too bad. Everybody should treat each other nicely. That's my thesis. Well, if people want to yell at me for that, that's fine. It's alright. It's only you and me, Memory. You're the only one watching. So this is another one of these public events that is interrupting escalation protocol that we have to finish before we can get back to escalation protocol. Yeah. Let me just say, I never took the Birthright tour. My parents were like, you should go. Birthright, you're probably aware. You seem educated, but that's like, any Jew can go to Israel for free once. Like, the government will take you on a tour. But only if you're like 26 or under, and I never went. And I'm over 26 now. But I don't like the political spin. That comes out of both sides, frankly. I really don't.
We stopped them in their tracks.
I don't think either side's right. That gets me in trouble at home. But that's my opinion. I think both sides are acting like children. and a lot of people are dying because of it, and that's stupid. There's my thoughts on the Middle East. Oh, well, that's good to hear. Supportive audience. Like, I'm also a huge Star Trek nerd, so I really, really just want Star Trek to happen. Like, where's the part where I get to fly around in space and we all stop giving a shit what we look like? Yes. Memory, you hit the nail on the head. Like I was saying earlier, so much blood has been spilled, no one knows who cast the first stone, and neither side is willing to forgive or lay down their arms. They're only willing to escalate. And until both sides are actually really want peace, it's never gonna happen. And I hate that. I hate that. It makes me really upset. Because like I was saying before, I do believe that, like, we're cousins, ethnically speaking. We're family. Yeah. The nukes that they have, they would never shoot that close to home. It's more meant for a deterrent for countries like Iran. While I do not defend nuclear arms in any sense, it's like they're kind of surrounded, with the exception of like Jordan and Egypt, they're kind of surrounded on all sides by people that don't really like them that much, and don't want them to exist as a country. So I understand their logic for wanting nuclear weapons. However, I don't think nuclear weapons should exist. So that's a whole nother conversation. I've actually, my parents, like I said, my parents are hardcore Zionists. They're pretty left-wing, but Israel's where you start losing them. And they have always, as a child, they're always like, Jordan's a beautiful place, they're good to us, they're our friends. I was always told that. Sadly, I only left America once. It was a couple of years ago. For like 3 days, I went to like a resort in the Bahamas. I went on a cruise and a resort out of Florida. That's how far away I've been from America, the Bahamas. So, you know, I've got a lot of world experience. I've been around America a lot. I've been around this country a fair bit, but beyond that, not so much. I believe it. One of my favorite. I love the desert. You know, not to live up to my people's reputation as a desert people, but the one time I was in Nevada, Vegas, and we drove from Nevada to Los Angeles, and the drive across the desert was gorgeous. I loved it, and I would love to see more deserts in my life, should I have the opportunity. I'm also a big fan of the book Dune. I'm a general, so, you know, I guess I'm the opposite of Anakin. I like sand. I don't care that it gets everywhere. Oh boy, that was lame. I'm sorry, memory. You just have to sit through my dad jokes. I'm not even a father, which is a good thing. I'm at that age though where a lot of my friends are becoming parents. Do I think Jew is a derogatory term? No. I think it's all in how you say it. There's a difference between saying someone's a Jew and then, you know, saying it with some mustard. You know what I mean? It's no, it's not a derogatory term. I am a Jew. You can call me that, like, even though I'm an atheist, ethnically, you can trace me straight back to Abraham. No questions asked. The prequels have grown on me. I went back and rewatched them. I'm gonna have to put a disclaimer that I talk about Middle East politics in the description of this video. Don't want to upset anyone. Let's talk about the Star Wars prequels. They grew on me. I was, like many, Rise of Skywalker, yeah, kind of not that great of a movie. It's my general opinion. And I went on like a 3-month recovery period. No, see, that, when you start saying crap, I'm sorry, take it back to the racial stuff. Don't come up with special terms. We don't need special terms. We're Jews. That's fine. Like, we're the Jewish people, the mosaics. It's funny. The thing that always stuck out to me, and the thing that always made me realize, because I was raised, not Black Hat, but I was raised in a sect called Modern Orthodox, which is pretty close to Black Hat. Yeah, that's fucking insane. They call them mosaics. Israelites would have been a better term if she was looking for an alternative. Because we are all technically the children of Israel, which was the second name given to our forefather Jacob by the angel Metatron. I think that's how the Christians tell it. I'm trying to Anglicanize it, because the anecdote I was going to share was the first time I realized that, like, there aren't a lot of Jews in the world was when I was studying history in high school, and I got to the chapter on, like, the ancient Middle East, and they were describing the Jewish religion, Judea. Judah is a prophet figure. Judea would be our old kingdom, which is where Israel is, modern day Israel. And that was the deal. So Jacob changed his name to Israel, and God promised him all his children would get this place. Right? Don't you love it? Everyone's calling dibs in their religions. I was not popular with the rabbis. So yeah, the history book, it was a regular history book that, like, everyone else in public school got. And they got to the section where they were describing the Jewish faith, and they're like, yes, and then this is where the Jews came from after being slaves in Egypt. And they serve Yahweh, a vengeful and angry God. And I burst out laughing. I'm like, Yahweh? Now, I kind of know where Yahweh might have come from, but there isn't a Jew on earth that calls God Yahweh. That is a mispronunciation of one of the names of God written in the Torah. And God's got lots of names. In fact, the way you don't take his name in vain in Judaism is you call him Hashem, which is Hebrew for the name. So, like, you don't, he's like, kind of like good Voldemort. Right. Exactly. It's a reference because, again, Islam and Judaism, very similar faiths. Yeah, very similar faiths. I remember the first time I learned that was my mom was a special ed teacher, and for high school credit I had to go help her at the Special Olympics, and the kid I was watching was Muslim, and they were halal. They kept halal, and the father was telling me, like, when you go get him lunch, just whatever you think would be kosher, that's halal. And I was like, wait, what? Because I didn't know what halal meant at the time. And learning that opened my eyes. I was like, wait, why do we keep so many of the same customs? We believe in the same things. We believe we come from the same forefather. We're both Abrahamic religions. Like, what's going on here? It didn't help lend any clarity. But yeah, that was one of the experiences that has led me to my worldview that we got more in common than we have different. But I am in what the Orthodox community would call an apikoros, which is like a really mean word for heretic. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many there's in Judaism, but it might as well be 99. We have so many. Level 6. Alright, we got level 6 here going. Come to the amazing Ari's Twitch stream to help play Destiny and talk about theology and Middle East politics. I'll talk about whatever, honestly. That's what this show is. I'm gonna play Destiny and talk to people about whatever. I'm not a high skill player, so this is never gonna be one of those like speedrun challenge streams. I'm not that guy. But I'll shoot things and I'll chat. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Basically, on Apikoros, quite literally define somebody who, so basically, you know, Jews are beholden to a lot of rules, but if you're ignorant of them, if you're raised not religious, it's not your fault. But if you are raised religious, and you know all the rules and you break it, then you're an apikoros, which means not only did you break all the rules, you bad heretic, but you don't get to go to heaven. So I don't get to go to heaven, according to my faith, my parents, my family, my people's faith. Not really my faith. Except you and I are agreeing about things. We're having a very nice, polite conversation. I would imagine. Again, the similarities between the religions are frustrating. Only in the sense that I wish both sides would see that they hold the same core values of caring about piety and family and all that crap. It's the same. It's not different. They just use different words. And they choose different ways of fasting. Jews do it all in one day. And Muslims, they fast during the days and eat at night in Ramadan. They're like, we'll do it for a month, and then that's it. Jews are like, nah, we're going to spread our fasts out. That's a different, and we just fast differently. That's very similar. Yeah, so an apikoros would not be a jahil, would be much closer to a kafir. That is a very accurate comparison. My mom hates that I call myself an apikoros, but she also doesn't fight me. I leaned into it, I don't care. Again, because I'm kind of an atheist. And by kind of, I mean I'm not an atheist. I mean, the thing that always drove me, like, the big tell that we're very close is our greeting. The way we greet each other. In Arabic, it's Assalamu alaikum. And then in Hebrew, it's Shalom aleichem. We say the same fucking thing. It means the same thing. It's salam, shalom. Same. It's the same words. Drives me crazy. I want Star Trek. I want to be on the same spaceship with everybody. Looking for aliens. That's what I want. I want the Star Trek feature. So this is the boss. It looks like, okay, these are the awful thralls? No. We gotta keep our eyes. There they are. Oh god. Shoot him. Come on. Oh, nobody knows. This is bad. That's how the boss heals. As we switch from philosophical talk to some sweaty Destiny playing. Well, that's the thing. It's the idea that first contact would be a unifying factor. That all of a sudden an external threat would bring humanity together. Because of course we would immediately look at a foreign life and assume it's a threat. Because we're still basically tribalistic. We've just replaced tribe with country. And we're still making the same arbitrary differentiations with the same species. But what the hell do I know? I'm a crazy New York liberal. We actually beat the boss, which is cool. Does not look like I got the gun. Nope, just a piece of armor. Alas, RNGesus was not with me. Well, let's see if this group sticks around for a hot second, knows how escalation protocol works, and like, maybe we have another round. I have not read Sphere. I know they made it into a very bad movie with Dustin Hoffman, if I remember correctly. But I haven't seen that either. Should I read Sphere? Is Sphere good? I'm a film snob, so when I say very bad, it was probably fun. It looks like everyone's sticking around. This is a good sign. Alright, that's what I'm looking for. Cool. I will check out the book. It looked like a bunch of underwater alien hooey. I like it. That sounds Lovecraftian. That happens with so many adaptations. And I love movies. I went to film school, and like, the books are usually better. Technically no aliens, right? I know it's like a dead... Alright, I don't know. If I'm remembering it correctly, it's like they find a spaceship at the bottom of the ocean, and they're like trying to figure it out or something. Am I part right? I'm part right, I think. Like again, all I'm going off of is the trailer to the movie Sphere, which I saw as a child. Oh, wow. Look at me. Look at me go. I was right. Well, that does sound like something that would be extremely up my alley, so I'll give it a look. Thanks for the recommendation. Inside there's a sphere. Good. I was hoping there would be a sphere. I'd feel gypped. I'll tell you, today, my girlfriend made me watch Wreck-It Ralph 2, the one that Ralph Breaks the Internet. She wanted me to see it, and I remember thinking, like, going most of the way through the movie, he hasn't broken the internet yet. He's got to break the internet. Eventually he did break the internet. It did happen. But, like, it was a whole lot of the runtime, the internet was functioning just fine. So I almost felt gypped. The first one was okay. I'd actually say the second one was better. The thing that bothered me was the very clear product placement, and not the Disney product placement. Like, that's fine if it's a Disney property, but, like, they go to the internet and fucking Facebook and Instagram and, like, eBay, they're all in it. Like, Amazon is in it, and, like, that's gross, because I know that's not Disney. I know that there was, like, money exchanged for that to happen, and it took me out of the story. But I would honestly say that it's a funnier, like, I didn't really laugh out loud in the first one, which I only saw a couple of weeks ago for the first time. Yay, Disney Plus. The worst idea of all time? I mean, I can think of a few, but probably not the one you're referring to. What is the worst idea of all time? Oh no. They must go insane at some point. Oh god. How many years have they been doing it? That's so funny. I'll tell you what, a lot of really good comedians are coming out of New Zealand these days. I'm a huge fan of what we do in the shadows. Podcast. I'll give it. I get that. That honestly does sound like my type of podcast. I listen to How Did This Get Made? That's probably my favorite podcast, which is, if you're not familiar, it's Paul Scheer and Jason Mantzoukas and June Diane Raphael, she's on Grace and Frankie, and they watch the worst movies. Some of them are my favorites, like favorite bad movies, and they tear them apart. Those are good choices. Those are great choices. If you're gonna torture yourself. The same movie every week for a year. That's good. What a horrible thing to do to yourself. Be on those freaking acolytes. Not acolytes, thralls. Somebody better be on them thralls. Somebody better be on them rolls. Ah, somebody's on the rolls. We might do it. We might do it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Egregious product placement really takes me out. Like one of the worst ones I ever saw was, believe it or not, in the Don Cheadle drama Hotel Rwanda. It was sponsored by either Coke or Pepsi, I forget. So if I remember correctly, it was sponsored by Coke and Heineken, because the bad guys, the genocidal people in Rwanda. Oh, sorry, that was loud. Just hit my mic there. They all drank Pepsi, but in the hotel that Don Cheadle was keeping everybody safe, in the hotel, there was Coca-Cola. That movie was amazing. I don't want to trash that brilliant, fantastic movie. I didn't get the gun again. I got another piece of armor. But it does look like people are still here. This is good. We got a farm going on. Yes. I mean, you... Oh. Many times over. I have the armor set. I've gotten it to the point where I have it. I have pretty decent rolls. There are stats on the armor. And they drop at different, like, number ratings or whatever. But yes, I think I have, with all my runs today, I might have 2 full sets in on me right now. Yeah, boyos. Come on, everybody. Let's go. This is a bad start. It's alright, I got 2 boss runs. I ain't complaining. I mean, I should. I haven't done it yet. There isn't. There's no trading in this. It's wasted inventory space. Everyone has completely separate drops, completely separate inventory. There's no auction house system like World of Warcraft. So everything's up to RNGesus. What that does do mostly is that circumvents the, like, we'll get you this for money, mostly. There are really hard to get weapons that, like, if you don't want to put in the effort, you can pay someone to do that, but why? I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I would feel about an auction house. I feel like they would really have to rebalance drop rates the way things worked. But I would like to see more player activity. I'd like to see more player interaction in a social space, in a non-gameplay sense. Admittedly, Destiny has a very fun emote system. I really like their emotes. Well, so the elitism, that's a kind of a part of Destiny. FOMO, fear of missing out, is kind of their trade. They actually burned me out on that a few times. They did it really bad a couple of seasons ago, and they're like, we'll lay off, we'll make it a little less grindy, a little easier to do things. Sorry, everybody. But there is a certain amount of people like showing off. The ornamental armor I'm wearing, I earned. That's a status thing. The gun I have, this dude. Not everybody has this gun. I got it the old-fashioned hard way. I fly very hard to get spaceship. My motorcycle, my hover bike is really, really hard to get to. You have to do a lot of very inane things here on Mars in order to get my, they're called Sparrows, but, you know, they're hover bikes. We ain't passing this. It looks like, what, 2 people? I'm out of here. I'm not wasting my time. 30 seconds, baloney. Where are we at right now? 11:25. I got a couple more runs. Give it a go. Try my luck. Let's clear my inventory out of garbage. Now, I don't know if it's a good thing that Destiny gets elitist, but that's part of the allure for some. See, like, I just dropped the armor at a higher number, so I'll just delete the other one. I'm fucking drowning in these armors. Wait, no, get rid of the 50. Yeah. I don't know how they would do it. I don't think it's on Bungie's to-do list, frankly. Right now, they're just trying to figure out how to operate without Microsoft or Activision backing them, and doing it without nickel and diming you in microtransactions. Yeah, see, that's why I'm wary about it. I don't want it to. Like I said, Bungie is imperfectly beautiful. And it's a strange combination of gameplay ideologies and mechanics, and it's not quite enough of an MMO that I think an economy would be worth it. Mostly because in these MMOs, it's less about immediate skill. They're just, okay, these laser brains are just shooting each other. I'm gonna try a different planet. It's more about skill. So the guns are really hard to get because it's a first-person shooter. So like some of these things, like the raids in this, they don't just require a lot of people. They're mechanically complicated. They're honestly the most fascinating parts of the game. Yeah, literal laser brains. So the spaceship is from the Black Armory, which was an add-on. And you can only get this ship by forging 100 weapons in the Black Armory, which most people don't do. And they don't announce that that's how you get this ship. But I actually just unlocked it this week, so that was an accomplishment. And now I have the bragging rights. What am I looking at? see if people show up. What happens? I'll mess around a little bit here. That took me... I didn't start trying the Black Armory in earnest. It took me about a... Oh, don't... I can't tell you how many man hours I put in, but I can tell you, like, when I started and when I stopped. I started trying to actively chase making 100 frames about a year ago. I wasn't always super consistent with it. But you're kinda capped at like 7 weapons a week per character. Kinda. If you really hustle, you can do more, but that's like playing the game to the point that it's hurting your life, which obviously you don't want to do. But Destiny is one of those games where, yeah, you spend to get the really cool stuff. You put time in, because some of these things are on like weekly rotations. Wow. I can't trust, like, there's a website called How Much Time Have You Wasted on Destiny, and it will tell you. But I can't trust the hours because I'm a terrible person, and I leave the game running all the time. So I'm just sitting in orbit, and I'll go play later. So the hours are some crazy inflated number. Last time I checked, it said like 1,200 hours, but I've not played 1,200 hours of Destiny. Probably about half that. I probably honestly played, including Destiny 1, I probably played like 600 hours, something like that. That would not be unreasonable. I've been playing this franchise since launch in 2015, on and off. Actually, it's been following the same schedule, which is I play it when it initially comes out. The initial release is a bundle. I get disappointed, I leave, and then a year later my friend tells me to get the expansion. Yes, I'm aware. Like I said, I leave the game running a lot. My clan definitely had a good laugh. They weren't that far behind me though. The jerks. I do not believe I have spent 50 whole days of my life playing this game. 25 maybe, but not 50. That's sad, 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 sad. But yeah, that actually does feel true. 25 straight days, no sleep, would quantify my Destiny experience. So yeah, I played the main release, like when they changed the number, which supposedly they're not doing. They're not making. Those are worthy games to spend that long on. The Elder Scrolls series is tremendous. I started with Morrowind with 3. That was the first one I played, and I too have spent a lot of time. I can tell you this. I've only beaten the main story of one Bethesda video game, Fallout 3. I haven't finished the main plots in a single goddamn Elder Scrolls game. I get so fucking lost. I tried ESO for a little bit. I wasn't digging it. I tried ESO when I was mad at Destiny. Well, it doesn't look like anybody's launching the next one, and I took too long to notice it. I'll finally find it. ESO, yeah, I was not a huge fan of. So yeah, they put out a new version of Destiny, like Destiny 1 or Destiny 2, and it's like half complete, and then they're like, oh shit, and then they put out the first expansion. It did cost too much, and what physics? If I remember, it was like World of Warcraft animation. Like, people just plopped. There was no ragdoll physics. There wasn't anything going on. I wasn't feeling it. Also, they MMO'd it. They made it too class-based. The whole... That's a problem I have with like a lot of the number bar MMOs, which is ultimately why I space out on them, and I've tried most of them. And I think one of the reasons I like Destiny is it has a lot of the same MMO constraints, but it's a first-person shooter, and the guns feel different, and like, stuff's satisfying. See, there's your physics right there. Again, one of the reasons I love Destiny, it's very imbalanced because it's a power fantasy. When you are at my power rating, I know I'm dying a lot, but this used to be one of the most difficult activities in the game, and I'm playing the wizard class. Like, I'm a glass cannon. I'm not supposed to be tough, and I'm walking up to these bosses and I'm getting a lot of blows in first. Also, they added a cloud style, Final Fantasy VII style Buster Sword this season, and everybody's very pleased about it. And yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, this new Final Fantasy sword.
Oh shit!
That's my heavy weapon, yeah. This thing right here. This is my kinetic, meaning like non-elemental weapon. It's just shooting bullets. It's an auto rifle. Although it doesn't sound like it's shooting bullets. It sounds like it's shooting lasers, but it counts as kinetic, so whatever. And then for my energy weapon, I'm using my Jotun, which is a fireball cannon. It's a fusion rifle, but because it's an exotic, it throws fireballs. It's my baby. It's my favorite gun in the game. Because it's patently unfair. So, like, you can masterwork and, like, upgrade items in this game, and exotics, the only thing you can do is you can get a catalyst for them. But not every exotic has a catalyst. And they've been very clear that Jotun is never getting a catalyst because it's so fucking OP already. Not only is it a fireball cannon, but I forgot to mention it's homing. So if I like vaguely aim it at an enemy, it tracks. Which makes it a nightmare in PvP. Although, for some reason, not everybody uses it. My Pat, who was on the stream last week, my clan leader, whatever, he called me a monster because he looked up my PvP stats and it said my most frequently used weapon was Jotun. And he's like,
We don't get to cover. Their void blast will melt your shield like...
It's like, you
Well, it
monster. How could you use that in PvP? I'm like, it's really easy. Shoot fireballs at people. They blow up. So nerfs for nerf's sakes, usually I'm against them, but like I told you, Destiny is very imbalanced. So sometimes they'll patch the game or release a new weapon, and it will be bugged. For example, this blob you see comes from a grenade launcher called Witherhoard, which came out this season. There was a glitch that basically made Witherhoard so powerful it could one-shot raid bosses. They had to go nerf that. And, you know, that's fine. Sometimes guns don't need nerfs. Destiny is a game that definitely requires a lot of tweaking. And a lot of vigilance. In general, I mean, who likes being told your stuff's getting weaker? I don't know anybody that truly would like a nerf, but sometimes you gotta just agree with them. Bungie, it happens so frequently that like Bungie has some game-breaking bug in it that they celebrate it. They'll be like, enjoy it while it lasts, and anybody who's here for it during that time gets a badge. Like, you get an emblem, or like a thing you can do that was like, hey, you played the game when like that laser gun was stupid powerful. In general, I would agree, but like the Witherhoard thing I was describing for you, that needed to get fixed. They nerfed one submachine gun in the game because it was so good that it was still the submachine gun. However, they nerfed it only marginally, so it's still the submachine gun in the game. But what Destiny has introduced to offset nerfing now, so they'll, instead of nerfing, they're going to begin sunsetting weapons, meaning that weapons now have power caps. So eventually you can use a gun for like most of the year, and then it can no longer be raised higher. So the Recluse, which is that submachine gun I was talking about, this is the last season it can be maxed out. So in September, when the new expansion pack comes out and they increase the power cap, Recluse will be aged out, and you will be forced to use other guns, which I actually kind of like, mostly because like Recluse is so good, it's ubiquitous. Like once you get it, you rarely use another weapon, and I have it, and it's very frequently equipped. The only reason I don't have it equipped all the time is because it takes up the same slot as Jotun, and I love Jotun. But I mean, like, here's my Recluse. It's so this is sunsetting. So now 1060 is the highest it can be raised to, but this new assault rifle I got can be raised to 1360, which means it'll be good until... Yeah, I was originally grumbly about it, because I was like, what do you mean my guns aren't gonna be blah-de-blah? But my friend made a good point, that it's like Magic the Gathering. It's like rotating out cards. And once I started thinking about it like that, it bothered me a lot less. And the fact that they're adding a lot of cool guns in, like this sword is new. So like this sweet ass sword that I'm playing with, it isn't about to be sunset. It's brand new, and it's great. and it's probably the coolest sword I've played with in the game. So, like, I can't really complain if their goal is to get me to try more new cool stuff. Exactly. That's their thing, is that they were looking at the map, and they're like, everybody's just using the Recluse. Everybody's just using Wardcliffe Coil or Xenophage. Like, they're just using the same guns. So how do we change that? The only weapons and armor that aren't getting sunset are exotics. So, like, Jotun, as an exotic, it's safe forever, because they're super guns. They're special. So the super guns never go away, and the super armor never goes away, which is great. That's awesome. I feel like there would be a riot if they did that to exotics. But all your legendary gear, your purple gear, yeah, I don't mind. I'm with you. I feel like it's in the long run, it'll do good things for the game. They've been figuring out how to exist. I mean, it's a bit of a stretch to call them an indie company because they're the people that created Halo, but they are essentially an indie dev now because they don't have the backing of Microsoft or Activision. Some of them, yeah. Some of them are really, really, really hard. And that would enrage fans. You are right. Some exotics just get from playing the game. They're just there. Jotun is not one of them. Jotun's a black armory thing. So just like getting that ridiculous spaceship that I have, I have to play a lot of black armory to go get Jotun. Worth it though, because fireball cannon, and people are like, what are you using? How do I get that? Everyone gets very upset when I tell them how much work you have to do, which I understand. I used to be like that because I would switch MMOs, but I don't know. I started playing Destiny in my mid-20s, and I made some mental decision that I'm too old to keep jumping through MMOs, so I was like, fuck it, this is it, this is the MMO. If I play one MMO, it's Destiny. And, you know, well, I was a PlayStation guy, so I never played beyond couch co-op when I was at a friend's house. I never played Halo. So when they were like, hey, we're going multi-platform for our next IP, I was like, finally, I get to go play a Bungie game. And not only do I get to play a Bungie game, but they're doing this crazy MMO experience. Yup, I was a PlayStation guy. So I'm waiting for the Master Chief Collection to get all finished, and I'm going to buy the Master Chief Collection for PC, and I'm going to play it, and I will probably stream myself playing it. And everyone will get to watch me, who knows nothing about Halo. Can I tell you, the most I know about Halo is Red vs. Blue. I watched a lot of Red vs. Blue. Never played a Halo game beginning to end. I played the beginning of Halo 1. So, like, I remember Master Chief getting woken up and like, getting Cortana and stuff. So, like, I know bits of it, but I never played Halo Reach. People tell me ODST is really freaking good. So that's, yeah, definitely on my radar. But that's why this game was such a big deal to me. I'm always like that, though. I mean, that's just par for the course. It's hard for me to just be the guy who doesn't pick everything apart. Look, Destiny has a lot of storytelling gaps. I'm pretty forgiving. And from the little bit of Halo I have played, and as much of this that I've played, I know that there's so much of the same DNA. Like, being a guardian and shooting the guns in Destiny does not feel too differently from playing a Spartan. You got more magic powers. Like, instead of a jetpack, I just kind of fucking levitate. I'm pretty good to watch movies. I'm bad before and after a movie because I'm like, I don't know if you ever watched Turner Classic Movies, that channel. They had this old guy, Robert Osborne, who would come out and introduce the old movie. That's fair. It's the same thing in Destiny. The Traveler who resurrects all the Guardians is a big alien robot. It's a big alien machine. That's the common approach to magic in our media these days. The MCU approach. Magic is science, and science is magic. I wouldn't really call it the MCU approach. If we want to get technical, I'd call it the Babylon 5 approach, because they did literally have tech wizards. Which movies? Just about movies and me? Oh, the Robert Osborne thing. I give, like, big explanations before and after. Scavelock? I get Scavelock? Come on. I didn't get the gun again. I will spend too much time telling you about this actor who was in this thing worked with this producer, and the reason they made that decision was because the weather was like that on this day. Like, I'm that guy. My girlfriend jokingly and annoyed, she calls me the human IMDb whenever I'm hanging out with my friends and they can't remember something. They just snap their fingers and go like, who am I talking about? What movie am I talking about again? I'm that friend. I'm the friend that knows what movie you're talking about most of the time. Even if I haven't seen it. Like Sphere. I accurately described the trailer plot of Sphere. Haven't seen it. Know it stars Dustin Hoffman. That's funny. Yeah, I am the IMDb trivia man. I'm very, I'm very good at for trivia night. At bars, people like keeping me around for the movie parts. I'm useless for the sports ball parts. Yes, I do believe that golfer hit a birdie into the end zone. Yes, I have seen Majestic. That's a good movie. Jim Carrey, I honestly think, is at his best as a dramatic actor. I thought Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind was heartbreaking in it. That's a worthy film to have up there. I don't know if I can keep the top 10. I fluctuate. I would say consistently in my top 3, Blade Runner is always there. It's hard for me to... Everything else changes. And it's not always really classy shit. Well, it's on Netflix, if you're ever so inclined. If you're gonna watch it, go watch... There are many different versions of the film. Go watch the final cut. It is the best version. Which Count of Monte Cristo? The one with Guy Pearce? They've done a lot of film adaptations of the Count of Monte Cristo. That's one of them. Okay. Yeah. Guy Pearce is cool. That guy needs to be in more stuff. Memento ruled. Memento. I was like in high school when that came out. That blew my effing mind. I went to high school at a very fun time, I guess. I don't know. We had the big movies when I was in high school, where it was that, the Donnie Darko, and Napoleon Dynamite. That's I'll date myself. Those were my high school years. Like, I remember seeing Batman Begins right after I graduated high school. That's how old I am. Internet. But there's not much to understand. It's style over substance. I haven't seen that in years. That's a movie I'd have to give a rewatch to give any sort of academic critique. I remember Patrick Swayze played a pedophile and Jake Gyllenhaal time traveled. No, I actually think his best performance was Jarhead. I don't know if you've seen that. It's like a Gulf War film. It's more about PTSD than anything else. He's phenomenal in that. Also Nightcrawler and Zodiac. Jake Gyllenhaal's pulled off some pretty good stuff in his days. But no. That and Bubble Boy are probably not his strongest. We'll forget he wasn't Bubble Boy. But I won't let the world forget. Look up Jake Gyllenhaal's haircut in Bubble Boy. And dude, some people have... You teared up? I've never seen it. Again, trailer. When the bubble broke. There has to be a moment in the movie where the bubble breaks. Does he learn out he wasn't sick at all? Some Munchausen by proxy bullshit his parents did to him. I don't know how serious that movie gets. I may be giving them too much credit. Yep. Oh, wow. No, I was spot on. Nothing like parental abuse and toxic relationships. That's like a more depressing Forrest Gump, and that movie was really sad. I hope not literally you felt this struggle. I hope you do not have terrible immune system problems, but it's good that you empathize. Forrest Gump makes you angry. Is it because of a normal person playing a mentally handicapped person thing, or? Oh, yeah. That's a much more valid reason. All right. Let's see. If these guys are going to do another run, I may play one more run before I wrap up tonight's stream. But if they aren't, I may go to Orbit. She does just dump a kid on him. And the director's in the right... then he goes off to heaven. Yeah. she definitely leaned on him. If I remember correctly, Jenny she's pretty fucked up. She had a bad childhood, if I remember correctly. I think she was sexually abused by her dad or something like that, or just implied. Not that that excuses behavior, but it may explain her flightiness and also, you know, social norms. How easy would it be for a society to accept her being in a relationship with someone who's mentally handicapped? The thing that upset me was that they didn't outright call it AIDS. That they were just like, yeah, she just got sick. I'm like, come on, say what it is. They said the mom had cancer. We watched Sally Field die, which sucked. Sally Field was a good mom. I like Forrest Gump. Except for the old Tropic Thunder line. Never go full, I don't want to say it. Never go full mentally handicapped. Your mom's a special ed teacher, so I don't like saying. I don't do the R word. Let's say it. Yeah. It's basically what it was. And I mean, Tom Hanks should have known. He already had been in Philadelphia. He could have just been like, did you not see Philadelphia? If you haven't seen Philadelphia, that's a movie where Tom Hanks plays... Yeah, it's basically. But Tom Hanks plays a lawyer who's fired from his law firm after they find out he has AIDS and he's gay. And he takes him to court. And he gets the very heterosexual Denzel Washington to represent him. Philadelphia is actually a really good movie, if I remember. I haven't seen it in a long time. It may not have aged as well in the era of casting the actual part. Denzel's the man. Denzel can make any movie at least watchable. Even if it's a bad movie. Like, I didn't really like the new Equalizer. He was good in it. Yeah, you're never gonna watch a movie with Denzel Washington and it be like, he was the bad part. The first time I ever saw him, I mean, slightly yes, exactly. You always know Samuel L. Jackson is gonna bring it. There are just some actors. Gary Oldman, I'd put in the same field. You know when you see them that they're gonna show up and they're gonna give you their best. Yeah, I would agree. I will say my favorite inexplicable Hollywood moment on the other side of acting craft. I'm a big fan of the Keanu Sans that is happening right now. I know that he has had some stiff performances, but I grew up on Bill and Ted and Speed and The Matrix and and even Dracula, where he got really panned. So seeing him have his moment in the sun with the John Wick movies is kind of beautiful. And I also really like the John Wick movies. They're stupid. But they're like the right kind of action stupid. The first one's watchable. The sequels, I've only walked out of one movie in my entire life, but I almost walked out of The Matrix Revolutions. I was furious with the third movie. The second movie, I did the same thing I did when the Star Wars prequels initially came out, where I just convinced myself they were really good. And I think that's why it works. The fact that it knows exactly what it is, it never tries to be more than that. It just tries to do its action shtick as best as possible, and it succeeds. I think every successive John Wick movie gets a little more outrageous, but I'm still buying the world. I'm still buying the character. I'm still digging it. 3 movies in, which is surprising. Like, I'm ready for a 4. Keanu Reeves gets to have his Liam Neeson Taken moment. I'm super excited for Bill and Ted 3 also. BT dubs. Talk about number 1 on my watch list. Oh my god, this is bad. So you see, like, no one's shooting the thralls, and the boss just keeps getting healed. But it does look like we're only 3-manning this. This is definitely my last run. Because we ain't getting this. I got a bad feeling about this one, champ. I think I've seen the short film with Karate Hitler. Though you said 2 words together that make me laugh. I, for one, love making fun of Nazis. There's a lot of my people that get hypersensitive, justifiably, when it comes to anything related to the Holocaust, that if it's not played in completely straight drama, then it's silly. Like, a lot of people had a problem with Jojo Rabbit, where Taika Waititi played like a kid's imaginary friend who was Hitler. I thought that was brilliant. I mean, a movie like The Producers would never get made today, and like, it featured a song called Springtime for Hitler. I love laughing at Hitler. It's like my favorite shit to do. I haven't seen Jojo Rabbit yet. Again, another movie I'm just spouting off of memory. Wow. But it's Taika Waititi, so again, he's just one of those guys that knows how to do things really well. Like, he figured out how to make Thor good. Hey, we got a boss player. I didn't think we were gonna get it. Alright, last time for the night. Oh, cool. Yeah, I've had other friends tell me that is purple. That's a stupid armor. Alright, no dice for me tonight. Yeah. Alright. I allowed that message. The mod was like, "Do you want to allow that Heil Hitler?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine. It's fine." Well, memory. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think you have to be able to make fun of these figures. Otherwise, you give them too much power. Well, memory. It was a pleasure talking to you. To people who watch this video later, hope you enjoyed our broad topics of conversation. I'll be back next week for more Destiny. Maybe I'll have more of my clanmates. Thanks for watching. I'm a peace out now. Have a good night.